So what are our third parties? All right, generally they're perceived as spoilers, right? My guy didn't win because of the third party candidate who, if you put his votes together with the votes the victor got, I mean, it still wouldn't add up. It never makes any sense, the arguments against third parties. So any party that isn't a Democrat or Republican. We haven't gained control of the White House yet, but we haven't given up on trying. We never will. We're a stubborn people. But we've had some success in Congress, some success in lower levels of government. In Illinois, for example, there are a few libertarian mayors. We're on library boards, school boards, things like that.
Well, we had success at the beginning. There was success at the beginning.
There was success
Jefferson,
at the beginning, yes. Jefferson? He led the Anti-Federalists. That was the other major party.
No, I know, but I'm saying value-wise, there was no libertarian party, really.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm saying basic ideals, I'd say we're stronger than they are now. Morals have changed over the last couple hundred years.
Okay. Okay, what's it at now, Pocahontas?
What?
What's your heart rate at now? I'm going to be emailing you over the weekend.
83.
Okay. All right, it's going down. It's going down. All right, I'll speak in a soothing, calming voice for the rest of the class. You'll all be asleep when my comparative politics class comes in here. You'll wake up and ask me what's going on. Why are we talking about the Pope? This is what we're discussing in comparative politics right now. So they can change the outcome. Sometimes they do. This guy, I mean, he was a popular third-party candidate. He was the Green Party candidate in 2000 for president. There are ideological parties. I hate that we're on this particular list, the Libertarians, but we are an ideological party. The Libertarian Party, the Socialist Party, and my favorite, the Communist Party. Don't like that we're lumped in with those guys, but hey, it is correct. There are also, I'll give you a moment more. I still see some pens moving.
Wouldn't you say that like the Socialist and Communist Party are morphing with the Democratic Party at this point?
Yeah. And we could go either way. There are left-leaning libertarians and right-leaning libertarians as well.
I'm just saying, like, very much of like the Democratic Party nowadays is socialist or hoping for communism rather than.
I would agree with socialist. I don't know about hoping for communism. I think that might be just a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
It is the next step, yeah. So there are single issue parties. That should be pretty self-explanatory. They base their platform on a single issue. The Free Soil Party, the Know Nothings, Right to Life. That should be pretty obvious what they stand for. The right to life. If you've taken a history class, you should know the Free Soil and the Know Nothings. Anybody?
I recognize the name.
Oh, Vanessa.
Recognize what?
Free Soil and the Know Nothings. No? It's not ringing a bell in the slightest. Well, relax. I'm not going to print out Wikipedia, encyclopedia articles about them. Merged. The party was largely focused on the single issue of opposing the expansion of slavery into the Western territories. Those were the Free Soil. The name kind of gives it away. The name does give it away. What am I talking about? Then the Know Nothings.
I know her lot. I know that was
They were nativists. America for the Americans, in other words. And economic protest parties, parties who base their platform on economic problems. Can you think of one?
The Green Party.
The Green Party?
As economic protest parties?
They're more of environmental, I thought. Not I thought, I know. What did you say?
Oh, I said an economic problem, not a
Oh,
party.
okay. So like the Greenback Party, concerned with the value of the US dollar. The Popularist Party, the Tea Party, well, that wasn't really a party, it was kind of a sect of the Republican Party. It was again concerned with the debt, among some other things. And there are splinter parties. Bull Moose. Do we know Bull Moose? No?
Yeah, no.
Oh. Teddy Roosevelt might be on the next test.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, kind of. I know the name now, but like, I don't know.
He broke off after he didn't get the Republican nomination and said, I feel as fit as a bull moose, and ran for president in 1912 under the bull moose ticket.
Really?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
yeah.
Oh, I
Is a
remember
bull
the
moose a
progressive
real type
party.
of moose, or
What'd you say?
is that a real type of moose, or did he just combine two fit animals?
I honestly don't know. Cadence, could you look up if there's such a thing as a bull moose? 'Cause I've never gotten that question before, and I've never thought to look it up myself.
Would the bull just be the male?
Maybe. We'll see what Cadence says here. But you've heard of the Progressive Party?
Yeah.
What are they all about?
I don't know. Hey, I was saying, like, it rings kind of a bell.
It rings kind of a bell.
What is that? I may have heard that one, but I don't remember it.
Just the name for a male moose.
Okay. So it's the male moose.
So he's the bull.
Progressive Party, formed by President Roosevelt after he lost the presidential nomination to his former protege rival, incumbent President William Howard Taft. That looks odd. All right. So, we are received generally as spoilers in an election. Sometimes our issues do get absorbed, so that like the marijuana legalization has started to be absorbed more into the mainstream of political culture. And there are states with one-party systems. North Korea, China, Cuba. Great company. Huh? So we have a choice, nominally anyway. Here we have nations that are based on a one-party governmental system. So like the Cubans, for a very long time it was illegal to run as anything other than a communist. And I kind of gave this away, yeah. So Cuba, dictators, fascist regimes, communists, anything like those, like that. They'll normally just have one party, the party of the man in charge, bless you. And that's that.
Is that what Russia is right now?
In a sense.
Nominally, I mean, on paper, no.
But I don't think Putin will really.
In practice, yes. Putin doesn't really consider himself. I think he went independent, so he's not really aligned with any political party at the moment. But he was part of United Russia, which was a party he built up. That was his party. So I would say on paper, no, but in practice, yes, Russia does fall under this.
Can you remind me of what communism is?
Okay, communism is when the state owns all the means of production, and everybody in the state gets an equal share and proportion of everything. So nobody is above or below anybody else. There's no class system. There will be no middle class, upper class, lower class, whatever. Everybody is just equally dirt poor.
It's always great in theory, but it's horrible in practice.
I mean, it hasn't really been practiced anywhere. There's been progressions in Vanguard parties, but never a communist actual existence.
Soviet Union.
Nope.
Well, why do you say no?
It wasn't a true communist party. It was ran by a dictator, and it never had any of the beliefs or goals of true communism.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so then we come to voting for candidates, and each semester I give students a choice. I'll ask this question: how many of you are registered to vote? Okay, how many of you do actually vote? Okay. This next section is about how to vote. I can skip it if you want, and we'll skip it. Is anybody interested in hearing about this? Since the majority of you are registered, I would think you aren't. No? Okay, then I will skip this part. We're down to slide 45. So there are two separate elections. The primaries held first. We can choose in this the candidates from each party who will run for public office in the general election. So this is, wow. Republican versus Republican. You go in, you check off the name of the Republican you like, or the Democrat, or the Green, or whatever. And they then face off against whoever the Democrats decide they're going to put forward in the general election. And there are two types here. A closed primary, where only voters of the Democrat, Republican, and in some counties in the state Libertarian Party who are registered in the party can choose the party's candidate. So they'll only let Republicans vote in this primary, Democrats vote in this primary. Then there's an open primary where you can walk in and say, my name is Her Royal Highness, the Princess Jill. and I would like a Democratic ballot. And they'll hand you one. Now, the important thing to remember is that you can only request one ballot. You can't fill out the Democratic ballot, turn it in, then go say, oh, I'd like a Republican ballot. You can only fill out one. So choose wisely. And then the general election follows. The primary follows the primary and determines which candidates will fill what office.